Alrighty, here we go. We are going to finish out your notes, do a little bit of review. This is kind of the very last task we have to do by hand and things. And so I want you to find Chapter 2, Section 5, and this last part where we're in division of rational numbers. And it's specifically the decimal stuff, okay? So I want you to find this very first problem that looks like this. And there's kind of a paragraph on top, and the problem looks like this. 1 and 32 hundredths divided by 4/10. All right. It's really hard to wrap our head around what it means dividing by 4/10. That's a number smaller than 1. So what we try to train you to think about doing is, if I multiplied specifically by 10, here's what happens. Multiplying by 10 when you have a decimal number, in effect, moves the decimal point one spot to the right. 4/10 becomes just 4. 1 and 32 hundredths moves it one place, and I get 13 and 2/10. It doesn't go all the way to the end. It just goes however many spots I moved that one in the denominator. Well, this is a little easier to think of. This is 13, about a little more than 12. I'm dividing by 4. I know in my head this should be approximately 3, but let's actually do the math. And so follow along in your notes, because you'll see below we have this now 13.2 divided by 4. In your notes it's written as a fraction. I want you to write it as long division. Put the decimal point up above, and let's proceed. Okay, 4 can go in there 3 times without going over. Bring down the 2. Oh, look at how nice this is. I get exactly 12. I'm done with my division. My final answer, 3 and 3/10. Boom, there you go. Let's look at the next one. The next problem says, 384 thousandths divided by 24 hundredths. Oh, my stars. Okay, fear not. Let's just press through this a little bit. I personally, in my head, can't even begin to estimate this. Let's first of all write it as a long division problem. Okay, the first number divided by 24 hundredths. Okay, again, we're going to manipulate this so that I'm not thinking of dividing by 24 hundredths, but I'd like to think of just dividing by 24. Okay, I moved it 2 places to the right. That means 2 decimal places is multiplying by 100. Do the same thing here, and then get that decimal point up there. Okay, whew, got that situated. If this is too cumbersome to look at with these leading zeros, come and rewrite it as just 24 and just as 38 and 4/10. Sometimes I think those zeros just make things so complicated. Take a minute to do this. Oh, well, I know 24 is only going to fit in there about 1 time, so I know my answer is going to be more than 1, less than 2, because 2 times 24 is 48. I don't have anything that big. It's kind of smack dab in between 24 and 48. You know, it's probably close to 1.5 actually. Okay, it fits in there once. When you subtract, you end up with 14. Bring down the 4. When I look at this, I happen to know that this will fit in here perfectly 6 times. So when I multiply, yep, that's the magic number. You get 0. This is done. I get 1 and 6/10 for my final exact answer, and my estimation was right on spot. Okay, last but not least, this last one on here says negative 14 divided by 1 and 25 hundredths. Okay, hold on. All right, we've got some negative numbers. The first thing I want you to think of is that if I have different signs, my answer is going to be negative when I'm multiplying and dividing. 14 divided by about 1 would, if I were dividing by exactly 1, I'd get 14. It's a little bit more than that, so I'm going to get less than 14. I don't know, maybe in the 10 to 11 or 12 range is where my final answer should be. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to completely ignore the negative sign now, though, simply because I've got it already determined in my answer. It gets in the way and confuses me. Okay, dividing by 1 and 25 hundredths. I want to get this here, behind the last digit. To do that, I had to move it 2 decimal places. That's like multiplying by 100. Here's really where the decimal place is right now in 14. Do the same thing by adding zeros. Here's where your decimal point lands. Okay. Now dividing by 125, and again, if you want to rewrite this as 125 and 1,400, go right ahead. Can 125 fit into 1? Nope. Into 14? Nope. Into 140? Yes. Go ahead and subtract. That leaves us with 15. Bring down the 0. All right, 125 can fit into 150, but only once. Okay? When I subtract 4, I get 25. Now I have to add a 0 and bring it on down. Now it works out slick. I get exactly 2. Notice that 2 has to be on the other side of the decimal point. I'll move this up to make sure you can see what in tarnation I'm doing. Our division is done. Let's go back up here. Here's what I have to pay attention to. Yes, it's 11 and 2/10. Yes, it was around what my estimate, what I thought was, so my answer makes sense. And it is negative. Don't forget about the sign. Okay? That's it. I don't want us to go any further because, in all honesty, most people are going to grab a calculator, grab their phone, grab something to do the actual cranking out of the math if the decimals get any worse. I just need you to have a good understanding of it. Okie dokie. All right, continue on with the rest of your assignment. Good luck, and may the force, as always, be with you.